Sports Snippets, Dennis Sullivan, Saturday, the 8th of February. So happy that you have decided to take just a brief moment of your time to view this video. And of course, if you do like the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe below. Basically, guys, I'm here to go over and recap Super Bowl 54, my last video, which was last weekend, just prior to the Super Bowl. I did a basic preview of what I thought, and some of it was, there was a little bit of what I thought was going to happen and really what to watch for, and made some basic points. And what I've done for today's video actually is I've left up those notes from last weekend, and I can kind of recap for you exactly how things played out, and let's get right to it. I mean, Super Bowl 54, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as an entertaining game, I got to give this one a solid 9. I mean, the only thing that would maybe give it a 10 if it went into overtime or something like that, or, the Chiefs did kind of pull away there towards the end, but still 31-20, the Chiefs over, Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions, with a 31-20 victory over the San Francisco 49ers. Giving this game a solid 9. I mean, I might go like 8.5, but I'm going to give it a 9 in the entertainment value. I thought it was fantastic. There were a lot of things that did happen, and I did discuss, and let's go to those points from about a week ago, actually, right before the game was played. Different styles, guys, different styles. I mean, going in, you have a power running 49ers against the air it out Chiefs. Did we see that whole equation play out the way we thought? Sorta, kinda. I don't know if the 49ers really, although the 49ers did in fact run the ball successfully, they did not really, for whatever reason, quite run the ball enough. I mean, they really didn't, guys. They really didn't. I don't even know if they had more carries than the Chiefs did. It was pretty close, but the way it played out, I mean, Garoppolo went from 8 passes in the NFC Championship. He threw about 4 times that amount in the Super Bowl. He wound up throwing 31 passes. Mahomes would throw 42 passes, which is more of a Mahomes kind of effort, even a little high for him as far as attempts go. But for one reason or another, the different styles really didn't play out, and the 49ers did throw the ball a little more than we had expected. Did it work against them? It kind of did. Because they really, as I'll get into in a few moments, they really weren't that. They were moderately successful at times, but nothing to where the end result, whether you want to look at it statistically or just exactly what happened during the game, did it help them? I mean, to a certain degree, yes, but no. The Chiefs played their game, actually, is what wound up happening, and won this game fair and square, and would come back and win. I mean, remember, they were down 20-10 after 3 quarters, and then in the 4th quarter, 3 unanswered touchdowns to win this game 31-20. Point number 2, as I had discussed last weekend, Patrick Mahomes. Oh yeah, I mean, this guy is like, he is the guy now. He's like the main focal point. If you want to look at one player in the league, he's, if you're going to look at or rank them in popularity, I would say Patrick Mahomes is that person. He is the main player, shall we say, going into next year, just pretty much like he was going into this year. Still very young, very young. He would win the MVP award for Super Bowl 54. Do I think he should have won the MVP award? I'm going to say this, guys. The quarterbacks historically in the Super Bowl seem to get the edge when it comes to most valuable player in a Super Bowl game. That just seems to be how it's played out over the years. I think with this particular Super Bowl, Super Bowl 54, Mahomes, I'm going to give him the credit for leading his team back, being the leader, persevering, playing his best down the stretch. But I'll say this, guys, you can make a case for Damian Williams as MVP of Super Bowl 54. Because remember, he scored the last 2 touchdowns, both in the fourth quarter. The go-ahead touchdown on a 5-yard pass, and then the, shall we say, insurance touchdown, or putting the game on ice. As they were up 24-20, he would score on a 38-yard run. 31-20 Chiefs, game, set, and match. Kansas City Chiefs, champions of the NFL. So you can, and Damian Williams rushed for over 100 yards, and he had 29 catches and 29 yards receiving, 29 catches, wow. 4 catches for 29 yards and a touchdown. He produced a lot, and he produced when it most counted. So not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes, I mean, the most important thing is that he will get credited with winning a Super Bowl when all's said and done. And will he win another one? I don't know. He certainly has a very good chance. But in terms of MVP, you can make that case if you want, in my humble opinion, that Damian Williams could have been. I wouldn't have even blinked. I would have been like, oh, okay. If they gave it to Damian Williams, I would have had no criticisms of that whatsoever. Okay, guys. Point number 3, the TV ads. The TV ads didn't necessarily disappoint. No, not at all. Didn't overwhelm us, or at least me, with excitement, because the bar was already raised. We know we're going to get high quality ads and awesome commercials for the Super Bowl. That's, if you've even seen one Super Bowl before in the past, that's going to be the case. 2 of my favorite were the Bill Murray Groundhog Day commercial. And I also liked the Cheetos, I believe it was Cheetos, yeah, popcorn. The Cheetos popcorn where the guy has the orange, the orange dust on his hand, from eating the popcorn, and you can't do a high five, and they put him in another scene where where he always needs his hand, and he really can't use it because it's all orange. So I thought that was pretty humorous and creative in a nice, funny way. So I thought that was pretty cool, and there were other very good commercials as well, as we always expect. So that was pretty neat. Let's break the game down, everyone. First for the 49ers. Now, of course, this is a 49er team that several years ago had lost the Super Bowl. I'm going to say, and I don't have the exact year, remember where they lost to the Ravens a handful of years ago, and then come back and now lose this one. And what I'm really getting at is Steve Young would be the last quarterback to lead the 49ers to a Super Bowl win. And then, of course, before that, it was the multiple Super Bowls from led by, I should say, quarterback Joe Montana, who never lost a Super Bowl. So even in today's day and age where Steve Young, I mean, he had that Super Bowl victory against the Chargers in the 90s. I think it was like 1994 or maybe in the beginning of 95 the actual game was played. That's 25 years ago, guys. So these are big shoes to fill. The Joe Montana, Steve Young shoes to fill. So Jimmy Garoppolo not in a very easy spot. Once he did great getting them there. He gets to the big game, and he was, I mean, they needed him to come up with these big plays, and I'll tell you what, it wasn't so easy because, 49ers are going to beat you without having to beat you in the air. They've won so many games that way, controlling the ball, running the ball. In this case, they needed to come up with a lot through the air in the fourth quarter, and that really isn't their strength. So Jimmy Garoppolo would finish 20 out of 31, 219 yards, 1 touchdown, and he did throw 2 interceptions. As I'll get into the rushing attack for the Niners, you're going to notice that it was effective. I mean, in terms of, Mustard almost averaged pretty much 5 yards a carry. He was right under 5 yards a carry. Tevin Coleman was just under 6 yards a carry. So, they were running the ball successfully from an average yards per carry standpoint. I just don't think they ran it enough. It's easy to be critical right now, but they just didn't really run it enough. So let's get into that real quick. Raheem Mostert, 12 carries, 58 yards and a touchdown. Deebo Samuel, we saw a lot of carries, well, not a lot, but we saw a few carries from him early, and he was very effective in that role. Of course, he is a receiver for the Niners, the 49ers, 3 carries, but 53 yards on the 3 carries. And as mentioned, Tevin Coleman, just under 6 yards a carry. He had 28 yards rushing, but only on 5 carries. Probably would have liked to see him get a little bit more involved. Kendrick Bourne in the 49er receiving department would lead the way as far as yardage goes. It was very close. You had 5 receivers for the 49ers that would have between 36 and 42 yards receiving. So it was very evenly spread out. Kendrick Bourne, 2 catches, 42 yards. Kyle Juszczyk, he has that Mike Krzyzewski name. 3 catches for 39 yards. He did have that touchdown. And then he also came very close to a second touchdown where he was like going like that, right at the goal line. And that was 3 catches, 39 yards, And then Deebo Samuel, 5 catches, 39 yards for him. Gotta like Deebo Samuel. There's a bright future ahead for him. I've liked him. Watching him in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, you gotta like him as a talent for the 49ers moving into next season. Emmanuel Sanders, 3 catches, 38 yards. George Kittle, 4 catches, 36 yards. Very quiet for George Kittle. If you were to tell me that the 2 best tight ends in football, in my opinion, and I really don't think there's much of a question, and Travis Kelce and George Kittle would combine for under 100 yards, I would probably tell you that you're nuts. There's no way that's going to happen, but it did happen. They actually only combined for something like 79 yards. That I never saw that coming. So that was pretty interesting. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl 54 MVP, 26 out of 42, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. For him, that's actually a below par performance. We usually see better performances from Mahomes. They did give him the MVP. You could justify it because the fact that they did come back in the 4th quarter. He is the leader of the team, and he did keep his composure, and he did play well in the 4th quarter. It's just that I thought Damian Williams had it. I think I would have given it. If I had a vote, I would have given the edge, to Damian Williams. Mahomes was sacked 4 times, so the Niners were effective in getting to the quarterback in the Super Bowl, and they did a pretty good job defensively, really, until the end, and then it kind of fell apart on them. Damian Williams, 17 carries, 104 yards. The guy was awesome running the football and a rushing touchdown. Mahomes would rush for a touchdown as well. 29 yards rushing for him, not bad at all on 9 carries. Tyreek Hill, the 2 big receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs, both played well. Tyreek Hill, 9 catches, 105 yards. Sammy Watkins, 5 catches, 98 yards. So the 2 big receivers for the Chiefs would combine for 203 yards. For 203, that's pretty good. That's a key right there. So Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins were effective in this game. Travis Kelce, as mentioned before, him and George Kittle were quiet. 6 catches, 43 yards. He did have the touchdown, though, to pull them within 3. That was in the 4th quarter, early 4th. Damian Williams would catch 4 passes for 29 yards, and as mentioned before, he would have a receiving touchdown as well. Damian Williams scoring, as mentioned, touchdown earlier. Both his touchdowns in the 4th quarter. Got to look at that too, guys. Come on. He played a monster. I thought he played close to a monster game, which says a lot. I mean, he played a good game, though. So basically that's my breakdown, leading me to my final point number 5, my vibe. So my vibe going in was that the 49ers would have just enough answers to win this Super Bowl. And if you turned off that TV set, or make that with the remote control, you turned off that TV set, after 3 quarters, I'm looking great with that forecast. But it just didn't work out that way. The Chiefs, down 20-10, going into the fourth quarter, would just rally. There's no other way really to put it, everyone. They would rally for 3 unanswered touchdowns and win this one by 11 and are rightfully so Super Bowl champions, 31-20 over the San Francisco 49ers. I think part of what happened, and now it's always easy to be the coach and to say this and to say that, and they should have done this, they should have done. Everyone's going to have their own opinion, and that's part of what makes watching this type of sporting event, or all sporting events, really fun, because we can kind of second guess and be the coach in a way. I can't say enough for Coach Shanahan of the San Francisco 49ers. He's done a phenomenal job with this team, but I think what happened, everyone, is the 49ers, somewhere in that fourth quarter, they started to get a little, the confidence kind of went down, and I think they started to fear. You look at some of the play call. I mean, the next thing you know, I'm not saying you should run the ball on second and I think it was 8 or 9 with 5 or so minutes left. Most teams would throw. The Niners did throw, and I think they also threw on that first down play too. There was a little panic setting in, and I think a big reason for that was because they started to say to themselves, "Are we gonna stop this guy Mahomes?" Patrick Mahomes, who's heating up in the second half. And basically, they kind of went away from their game. Again, it's easy to say that. Would have liked to see them. I mean, I know they're only up 3 points. Go a little bit more on the ground, though, with just over 5 minutes left. But again, there's so many other things that happened in this game that you can't just point to that one little spot in the fourth quarter. It wouldn't be right for me to do that, but I'm just kind of throwing that one out there and kind of explaining a little bit about what I think did happen to the 49ers in the fourth quarter of this game. And perhaps most importantly, everyone, I'll leave you on this note and end this video on this note. Congratulations to Coach Andy Reid. I mean, this guy's been around for a while. I mean, I believe he's in his early 60s now. Remember him when he coached Donovan McNabb and the Philadelphia Eagles, and he took them into the Super Bowl that one year, and they lost to the New England Patriots several years ago. He's been a really solid, good coach in the league and the NFL for years, for decades. Only had 1 Super Bowl appearance, as I just mentioned, which he lost, and then he finally got it done, and he hung in there, and he was good enough to hang in there, meaning he was good enough to be a head coach in the NFL for so long and then pulled through with the victories. You got to feel really good I don't know the guy personally, but he certainly seems like a really good guy in Andy Reid. So everyone, Sports Snippets, Dennis Sullivan, I will see you. Yes, you next time. Don't forget, you want to comment below? Let me know what happened. What do you think happened in this game? Share your thoughts. I'll see you next time. Until then, congratulations, Kansas City Chiefs. I'll see you next time. It was a great season in the NFL.